Supreme Lord, personality of Godhead, is neither impersonal nor an inert object, unable to reciprocate the feelings of his devotees. Here the word yatha vidhi, or just as it behooves, is significant. He reciprocates just as it behooves with his different devotees, different types of admirers and the devotees. Of course, the pure devotees are of one type only because they have no other object for the service but the Lord. And therefore the Lord also reciprocates with such pure devotees, such just as it behooves, namely, he is always attentive to all the matters of his pure devotees. There are others who designate him as impersonal, and so the Lord also does not take any personal interest. He satisfies everyone in terms of one's development of spiritual consciousness, and a sample of such reciprocation is exhibited here with his different welcomers. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So this is spoken in the context of Lord Krishna entering Dwaraka, wherein his friends, relatives, citizens and all the people of Dwaraka, they prepared themselves to receive the Supreme Lord at the entrance when he was just entering Dwaraka. And this verse particularly says that when Lord Krishna entered, Lord Krishna exchanged honor and respect with each of those persons, whether they were friends, relatives, citizens, and all others who came to receive and welcome him. So here Prabhupada says that the Supreme Lord, or the Absolute Truth, is not an inert object. The Lord is a person. The Param Satya is a personality. But it is not a personality like how we have experience in this world. In this experience we have only experience of jivas. Jiva is one category of persons who are fragmental parts of the Supreme Lord. The whole person is unlimited personality. The whole person, part person and whole person, we are all part amshas. And we are part of the whole personality. The whole personality is Krishna, and these two kinds of persons, one is coming under the Jiva Tattva category and the other is Vishnu Tattva category, because Krishna also has got unlimited forms. Advaitam Achyutam Anadhyam Ananta Rupam Adhyam Purana Purusham Navayauvanam Cha Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. God has got unlimited self-expansions as Narayana, as Vishnu, as different avatars in this material world. They are all himself. That means the Purna. The Purna becomes another Purna. But we are another energy of the Lord, which is called Vibhinnamsha. Those expansions of Krishna are called Swa-amsha. That means his own expansions. And then he expands as Vibhinnamsha, which is a small part. We are of the same quality as God, but not God. But you take Krishna, you take Narayana, you take different avatars, they are all God. Vishnu Tattva means God category, not Devatas. Devatas are also just like living entities. More powerful living entities are Devatas. More powerful Jivas are Devatas in this material world. They also have birth, death, they have to go through all that. But as far as the Vishnu Tattva is concerned, they have no birth, they have no death, they are eternal. Their forms are eternal, they never come under the three modes of material nature. Three guna never affects them. Whether they are taking avatara in this material world also, this three guna and the effects of three guna does not affect such avataras. So basically, the point that Prabhupada is mentioning here is that God is a person. He is not an inert thing. By understanding God is a person, we are also persons. So therefore, by understanding what a person is from studying the Jiva and the very same qualities to unlimited extent, that is the infinite person. We are finite persons, is an infinite person. Vishnu Tattva means infinite personalities. My thinking is limited, my feeling is limited, willing is limited, we as Jivas. But as God also thinks, feels, wills, but his thinking, feeling, willing is unlimited. Just like take Paramatma, he is seated in everybody's heart. I know my thinking, feeling and willing. I am aware. I cannot be aware of your thinking, feeling and willing. But Paramatma is seated in everybody's heart, is capable of understanding everybody's thinking, feeling and willing and guiding. So capacity of God as a person is unlimited. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Ye etamam prapadyanse tam statya bhajam. As you surrender, I reciprocate. Entire existence is reciprocation of the Lord. Entire existence, whether material existence or spiritual existence, is a reciprocation of the Lord. Creation, maintenance, annihilation of this material world is also a reciprocation of the Lord in order to cater to the independent desires of the living entity. For independent existence, independent power, independent knowledge, independent love, independent pleasure. And that's exactly what this entire material world is about. Everybody is after power, everybody is after pleasure, everybody is after knowledge, everybody is after love, minus Krishna, minus God. So that is material atmosphere, it's called Maya. And naturally this Maya we are experiencing through our temporary bodies. We all have a body. Prabhupada teaches us that we are not this body. We are not these fake bodies. These bodies are fake bodies. The Maya has faked the spiritual body. So anybody who falls for body thinking I am the body and lives his life for the body, then he is living a life of illusion, living for a fake body. It's not my body. Because it gets old, you have to give up the body and go away. So think that I am this body and the senses are my senses. So I am after Ananda, I am after joy. There is no dispute about it. Every jiva is after joy. Every jiva is after love. Every jiva is after love, after knowledge. Every jiva at least wants power enough to exist. So the four characteristics, the deep instincts of the jiva, there is no sin in it. There is no sin in seeking power, there is no sin in seeking knowledge, there is no sin in seeking love, there is no sin in seeking pleasure. It is the nature of the soul. But if you want to seek independent of God, then we have to be satisfied with what power, knowledge, love and pleasure we get as per our karma. These things are determined by the laws of karma. Anything independent of this, independent of Krishna, Krishna independent love, all these things is Maya. Moment Krishna is there, because Krishna is the Supreme Lord who can cater to everybody's love, everybody's pleasure. As Prabhupada is saying, there are others, okay. Therefore the Lord reciprocates with such pure devotee just as it behoves, namely, he is always attentive to the matters of his pure devotees. Any jiva who is completely after Krishna Bhakti, always thinking of Krishna, every tiny thing about that jiva, Krishna takes care. Lord is in the heart of the devotee. He will be taking care. There is no doubt. Material people may let down, but Krishna does not let down. But what does let down mean? Not what you crazily or you foolishly desire. He knows what is good for every of his pure devotees. Therefore the pure devotees they're always thinking of how to please Krishna, how to remain related with Krishna, how to always think of Krishna, how to remain his servant. Whole life, if we simply practice that I am servant of Krishna in every context, then that is self-realization. Jivera Swarupo hai Krishnera Nitya Dasa. That is self-realization. So the Lord is seated in every one of our heart. His capacity to give love is unlimited. His capacity to give knowledge is unlimited. If we are seeking Krishna independent pleasure and happiness, Krishna independent rasa. What rasa? Power rasa, knowledge rasa, love rasa, pleasure rasa, sense pleasure rasa. As I said, it is our nature, it is not sin. Our nature is to experience Krishna given power for his service, Krishna given knowledge to serve him, Krishna given love, Krishna given pleasure, just like you take Krishna Prasadam. It definitely satisfies your senses. So there is a gratification. But it is not considered to be sin. It is considered to be devotional service. It's not that perfection of taking prasadam someday is the day when you can take prasadam without tasting. That is not perfection. Mayavadis will say, perfection of your sense control is the day when your sense enjoyment is made zero. To completely give up all the demands of the senses. Completely different philosophy, Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness says the Atma has indriyas. Jnana indriya and karma indriya is basic tendency of the soul. The soul is not, in Krishna consciousness, soul is not denied these things, but you have to take Krishna prasadam. Everything has to be connected to Krishna. That is where one needs a guru. By the spiritual master's advice, you know how to connect everything in your life. From senses to social life to everything, how to connect it. Nothing per se is Maya. Forgetting Krishna is Maya. Everything that exists is for his pleasure. Krishna is the proprietor of everything, including ourselves, including our body. Simply we have to engage as a servant of the Lord. That is perfection of self-realization. And since God is a person, again he is an unlimited person. One should understand this, the basic characteristic of Vishnu Tattva. Then only you can become God conscious. If you think of God as a limited person, oh, why God will be interested in me? So many jivas are there. Where he will remember me? If I pray, where he will hear me? He is very far away. He is only close to Radharani. He is only close to Prabhupada. But actually Vishnu Tattva means he is there in all our hearts. See the beauty of Krishna consciousness. The accessibility of God. The accessibility of God is because of God's omnipotency. Because he is capable. Omnipotent, he is capable of that. He has no limitation of time, space, substance. Everywhere he is there, all pervading. He is within and without of everything, inside and outside of everything. So how he reciprocates depends upon what is right from the depth of the heart. Can you pray to him? Can you talk to him? Can you surrender to him? Then he will reciprocate. The God has got various agencies. If we go to God and we pray, give me this, give me that, then what is that relationship called? It's not loving relationship. God is the order supplier. Lord will say, I am also order supplier, but as Paramatma according to your karma. Ye etamam prabodhyante tam satya bhajamyaham. I have a scheme of things. This material world is me. The laws of karma is me. If that is the way you want to approach me, yes, be forgetful of me. Earn your sukha and dukkha. If you want to surrender to me, I am very happy to receive your surrender. I will send you to a spiritual master. I will send you to the Guru. And that is how we have all come. Somewhere, don't think everything is by chance. Nothing is by chance. There is one personality inside each one of us. Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. After the material world is created, the Lord resides in the Sveta Dvipa, in the each Brahmanda. He resides there, in the Milky Ocean. At the same time, He himself expands into every jiva, every ant, every microbe, every living, every human being as Paramatma. Because that Shirodaksha Vishnu is seated in our heart as Paramatma, that is why this system is working itself. We have got Anubhava. Any Anubhava is because of the presence of the Lord. That is a given thing to every living entity. Over and above that, you want him to reciprocate. Don't forget him even one moment, and he will never forget us for even one moment. Just like, how do you feel if somebody doesn't forget you at all? You'll feel obligated, isn't it? Not only you'll feel obligated, you'll feel very embarrassed. How can I reciprocate? Why is he thinking of me always? I have no capacity to reciprocate. God doesn't say that. God has got capacity. All living entities continuously 24 hours think of Krishna, only Krishna is reciprocating with each of them very specifically. This is the capacity of Krishna. This is what we learn from Krishna's Leela. 5,000 years back when he came through his Leela, he demonstrated these things. Just like see how Krishna was dancing with 108 gopis. And all 108 gopis were thinking Krishna is only with me. Exclusiveness he gave, exclusive rasa he gave. But actually Krishna was dancing with all the 108 gopis. Krishna expanded into 108 forms and he was with all of them. Similarly, when Krishna married 16,108 queens in Dwaraka, in each palace Krishna was there with each queen simultaneously. Is it possible? This is God. This is God. This is Krishna conception. The idea of Krishna. He is Satchidananda. He is not of the material body, not made up of fake body like ours. We also have an original body like Krishna's, but for his service. If we go back to the spiritual world, we need this fake body has to go through birth, death, old age, disease. None of us like birth, death, old age, disease. Why? Because my real body does not have birth, death, old age, disease. That itself is evidence that this is a fake body. This is not you. So Krishna consciousness is being conscious of our Purna. I am Amsha, my own Purna. We are all bandhus of Krishna. Every person is a bandhu of Krishna. Like here, so many living entities are receiving Krishna, and Krishna is able to offer due honor and respect to each and every one of his friends, relatives, citizens, and all others who came to receive and welcome him. Our life becomes fulfilled if we simply worship Krishna, remember Krishna, offer all our works to Krishna. With gratitude, accept Krishna Prasadam, whether it is money power or influence power or contact power or physical power or whatever it is, health power, different kinds of power we need. Take it as Krishna Prasadam, Krishna's gift, and use it properly in Krishna's service. Your intelligence, you use it properly in Krishna's service. Use your intelligence to understand Krishna conscious philosophy. Explain to people that God is a person. God is not some Shakti. God is not some Arupa Shakti. He has got a form. But his form is unlimited, Satchidananda form. Give them the evidence how Krishna, if his form was material like mine and yours, how he could have expanded into 16,108 husbands. Not possible. That is a proof that Krishna's form is not material form. So use our intelligence to spread Krishna consciousness, make people aware of their own treasure. What is the greatest thing that you have in terms of value that you can possess? If you ask that question to somebody, what is the greatest thing that you can say as your own, but you are not claiming? What is that? Paramatma in your heart. Why is the Paramatma sitting in your heart? For you. Why is Paramatma sitting in my heart? For me. There is my Paramatma, your Paramatma. He is highly personal. Sometimes people say, I don't have anybody to share with. Everybody has let me down. Everybody has. I don't have anybody to share with. There is nobody greater than Paramatma to share with. Why? You need not think, oh, God is so busy, where you listen to me. To listen to you only is sitting in your heart. You should understand these tattvas. To cater to you, he is seated in your heart. Highly in a personal way, he will reciprocate. You need Guru's direction. You need to respect. Because he is a person. So you need a personal relationship, means there are so many factors. He is not some genie. Get me this, get me this, get me that. You have to respect God as God. Then you develop a relationship. If you come to me, and if you understand my mind, then you can get into a relationship with me. Isn't it? So same way, moment you say God is a person, he has a mind. How to understand Paramatma's mind? What does he expect? What is he? That's what you get from Bhagavad Gita. That is what Krishna reveals to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. So if you want a relationship with Paramatma, first we need to hear from Guru, what is Krishna's mind? What is the mind of this God who is omnipotent, who is omniscient, who is everywhere, who can have unlimited forms, and who can give unlimited love. Unlimited love he can give. Everything that I am looking for in the depth of my heart, he can give me. He can give me, make me fully satisfied. Make my soul fully satisfied. How do I know him? So the journey begins by surrendering to Guru and then hearing from Guru what Krishna likes, what Krishna does not like, what he will reciprocate, what he will not reciprocate. It cannot be arbitrary. It cannot be, your relationship with Paramatma cannot be an imaginary relationship. You cannot just pray to Paramatma. See, this man is troubling me so much, please destroy him. He will not reciprocate. Because he is a person. Just like if somebody comes to you and tells, you seem to be having more power than me. Please, I have some problem with that person. Please destroy him. Will you do? You will not do. Even if you have power. Like that, so many do's and don'ts. Simply we cannot artificially, without reference to scriptures, you cannot develop relationship with God. If you think by imagination you can develop some relationship with God, without reference to Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, such relationship will remain imaginary. That's called sahajya, imaginary. So this is the reason why if we have to develop relationship with Krishna, you have to meet a devotee of Krishna. Who knows the mind of Krishna? Devotee of mind. Devotee knows the mind of Krishna. You want to understand Bhagavad Gita, you meet a devotee of Krishna who understands what Krishna spoke. Not some philosopher who gives an interpretation that Krishna is not important, Krishna's philosophy is important. Whole idea of Krishna philosophy is Krishna. And you say Krishna is not important, Krishna philosophy is important. Oh, there are very nice things in Bhagavad Gita, very good for management. They say. What are you talking? The nicest thing in Bhagavad Gita is Krishna. No, we can control the mind, this, that technique, mind technique is there, control technique is there in Bhagavad Gita, very useful for humanity. You forget Krishna himself. Just surrender to Krishna. That is the message of Bhagavad Gita. Sarva dharman parityaja mahamekam sharanam braja. By the way, Krishna gives knowledge to Arjuna about how to control senses and all these things. So there are so many secondary messages you can take from the scriptures, but what is the primary message? That only a devotee can speak. Say, if I speak something, in order to understand what I spoke, the best person is a person who knows my mind. Similarly, if you want to understand Bhagavad Gita, which is spoken by Krishna, you have to approach a person who knows the mind of Krishna. And who is the one who knows the mind of anybody? Somebody who is having a close relationship, such a person will know the mind. So a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, he knows the mind of Krishna. Therefore, if you read Bhagavad Gita as it is, you will understand what Krishna wants from you. And then you will develop, then you behave according to that, you act according to that, you will see that a real relationship with Paramatma is opened up. And our life becomes completely, gradually fulfilled, purified. Then we can choose, do we want this temporary social life or we want eternal social life? Eternal social life means we all eternal personalities. You are a member of the eternal world. Or you are a member of Radha Krishna Chandra's, Prabhupada's Radha Krishna Chandra family. You can feel. That is absolute. We are all part of Prabhupada's family. And love each other as members of Prabhupada's family, Prabhupada's, specifically Radha Krishna Chandra's family, because we are connected to this temple. So you start feeling you are in a world, spiritual world, because Radha Krishna Chandra is real. He's come as a Archa Vigraha in order to give us an opportunity to relate with him. Any questions? One question I'll take.
Krishna Prabhu. So, when we talk about Bhagavad Gita and the basic message of Bhagavad Gita is that surrender to Krishna. Obviously, at the end of the thing, at the end of the whole book, it's like surrender to me. That's what Krishna says. But in the real life, if you actually go about surrendering to Krishna, it's like giving up everything and anything. And so there's this emotional quotient. Like, for example, if tomorrow I've got to give up everything for Krishna, then it's like you become a surrendered soul, and the people around you take you for granted. Sometimes they say like, she's a surrendered soul, so I can probably do anything. And in that perspective, then this emotional quotient comes into the picture, and then your ability to surrender, or your willingness to my willingness to surrender probably might go down, and that might affect my future surrenderance and probably the surrender that I could do throughout my life. So how would one go about achieving that 100% surrender to Krishna in real life?
Yeah, surrender to Krishna is not simply some mental thing. Surrender to Krishna means surrendering your free will in following the discipline given by Guru. So surrendering property, surrendering job, surrendering money, this is surrendering yourself. That means surrendering your ability to do, to desire. That means desire for Krishna, do for Krishna. Not that you surrender and sit quiet. You have to do for Krishna. Instead of doing for yourself, you do for Krishna. Instead of, desiring for yourself, you desire for Krishna. Now, how to desire for Krishna, how to do for Krishna, you need guidance. You cannot just independently do it. You need guidance. After taking guidance, then you get spiritual knowledge, then you know how to desire for Krishna, how to do for Krishna. That is why Guru Sashya is required. There is disciplic succession and there is a training. And after that we become pure, then the Lord in the heart itself will tell us what to desire, what to do. That is the advanced surrender. So first surrender means, for instance, simple fact, surrender to Krishna simply means starting, chant 16 rounds. That is surrender. Follow 4 regulative principles. That is surrender. Then take the guidance of the devotee. Participate in Krishna's mission, Prabhupada's mission. That is surrender. Distribute Prabhupada's books. That is surrender. Not only during marathon. Whole year you should distribute books. I'm very happy you all worked very hard for distributing books during the marathon. But whole year that entire spirit should continue to distribute books. So this is all practical surrenders. Surrender is nothing, the emotional quotient you said. No, surrender is reality, in reality. Emotional surrender, all our present emotions are all fake emotions. They are all covered by the 3 modes of material nature. Just follow the emotions of Prabhupada and then just follow his instructions. And then Shuddha emotion from the Atma will awaken. Now the present emotions are not from the soul. That is why some people criticize you, take advantage of you, then immediately you become weak. Your ability to do service becomes weak. You are all socially dependent on people's appreciation, people's all these things. Real Atma's emotions are not dependent. Bhakti is not dependent on that. People spit at you also, you will do what Guru has told. You won't care. That is deep emotions. That takes time to awaken. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय।